Sahara is a new Netflix original for kids. The story follows two snakes from different walks of life. Ajar is bullied and doesn't fit in with his fellow desert snakes. Eva feels oppressed by the subterranean jungle green patriarchy. Both characters are tired of their lives and attempt to leave their respected habitats, only to find the world is a lot different than they both thought. When a snake charmer abducts Eva, Ajar sets off to rescue her. This is the first time I've reviewed a kids movie on this channel, so I will examine this movie with two criteria. Is this movie entertaining for kids? Is it entertaining for adults? The short answer is yes and kind of. For a kids movie, Sahara deals with a lot of complex themes. For instance, there is the obvious theme of racial and class divide. The desert snakes, or dusties as they're called, are seen as lower class. The green jungle snakes live an affluent lifestyle and espouse stereotypical assumptions about their dark-skinned neighbors. There are a lot of other themes in here. Police brutality. The birds are a police force managing a border between the jungle and the desert. They stop all desert snakes from entering the jungle. There's a scene when they capture Ajar and threaten to kill him to set an example. And when roles are reversed, they're very lenient with the jungle snakes. Drug abuse. One of the snakes is addicted to pollen. I thought this would be a fun little joke made once, but they made it part of his character. And I thought pollen was a stand-in for, like pot, but it's a highly addictive substance that is snorted. Also, eating disorders. The snakes controlled by the snake charmer consider themselves to be exotic dancers of sorts. The head snake expresses that Eva is too fat, so one of the other snakes mentions that she can tie a knot in her stomach so she won't be hungry anymore. Some of the references made in this movie will be accessible to children, like the references to Batman and Robin, while others will be weird and esoteric, even for adults. One of the characters makes a Wild at Heart reference. Who is that intended for? There's also a psychedelic dance scene with very complex birthing and biblical imagery that will go way over a child's head. I really like the art direction of this film. The animation is digital but goes for a painted look. This effect works better in some scenes, but altogether I think the animation was a success. The music is also very good. The music is a mix of Middle Eastern inspired music and a selection of contemporary tracks. The makers of this film are trying way too hard to pander to adults. It's heavily imitative of Disney's formula for appealing to all ages. I think this movie rests a little too heavily on adult references and neglects the human factor that makes Disney so brilliant. That being said, I think this is a passable knockoff. While this movie doesn't offer the same emotional highs and lows that your standard Disney movie offers, it is a thoughtful yet fun adventure story. The characters are all distinct enough and work well together. I think this movie is okay for children. The only thing I would be wary of are the pollen scenes. But I think these scenes are ultimately lighthearted enough to not be taken seriously. But for adults, this movie is definitely watchable. I was very interested in how this movie handled these complex themes. While these themes are never resolved in the film, I appreciated their inclusion. So Sahara, while being an imitation of Disney, offers a fun kids movie with complex themes. This movie will be fun for kids and adults will find plenty of things to appreciate.